lots more.
Folks, welcome in. Hope you are having a great Labor Day weekend. Maybe enjoying brunch with your Aunt Sally or starting it off at the Home Depot. But we are here, not the show where it's wrestling with your conscience, not the show where it's wrestling with your budget. It is wrestling with emotion. And we got another WWE PLE in a foreign country on the horizon. Welcome in our panel, Mr. Jake Micah, head of the table, Michael J. Partham. How are we feeling this weekend and heading into the Clash, boys?
Love a Sunday afternoon wrestling event. I can't stress that enough. Weekend afternoon wrestling is peak, so I'm very excited for that more than anything else.
Yeah, let's keep these afternoon events going. I mean, Saturday night is nice enough if you've got, a Monday to Friday job and you can just, stay up late for whatever. The Sunday nighters are the toughest ones, especially if AEW is going to pull that, 4 to 5 hour pay-per-view events. So I'm liking this. I'm liking the 1 p.m., 2 p.m. starts while they're overseas, especially in Raw and SmackDown. But yeah, let's get this going.
I agree. Let's get this
card.
going.
It's a 6-match card. It's a rare 6-match card for a regular PLE.
Let's get this going, and I couldn't agree more, Parthy, with some Trainwreck trivia presented by Batavia Down.
Batavia Down is more, lots more.
6 years ago today, this man captured gold. Can you get it on that hint alone?
Oh, wait. Payback, Roman Reigns started the Universal title reign.
Close. That was 5 years ago, but not at this exact date. But 6 years ago.
Was it Austin Theory? Are we talking about the egg?
Nope. I like that. I like where your head was at, though, with a conspiracy theory. Interesting. Wrong company.
Oh, Chris Jericho became the first AEW
Jericho.
champion.
Chris Jericho, 6 years ago today, becomes the first ever AEW champion, the first person in history to have held gold in the world title in WWE, WCW, and AEW. Very cool. That's why he's a legend for sure. But moving on, should be a pretty good card here. Like we said, with the 6 matches on deck. Anything sticking out to you guys specifically just for maybe 20, 30 seconds before we get into it?
Hey, Roman Reigns singles match on a pay-per-view has to be the biggest thing I'm looking forward to. It doesn't happen often these days, and to see him against Bronson Reed here in this spot is very interesting to be the guy that he's taken on here. So I'm very excited to see how that kind of plays out.
Yeah, that's a bit of a train wreck trivia we can have. When was Roman Reigns' last singles match on a PLE? Let me see.
That wasn't the main event.
Oh, that too. That could be a further one.
I mean, I would assume this is not going to be the main event. With all due respect to the Shula Fala, unless they give Bronson Reed his own Shula Fala Tron and like Aura like remix, like I cannot see that. So, but with that said, let's get into it. I am going to get a little spoiler out of the way here across the board. Does anybody see any titles changing hands today?
Let's see. Looking across the board,
we got Becky Lynch defending against Nikki Bella. We got Seth Rollins defending in his Fatal 4-Way, and then we got the Wyatt Six defending against the Street Profits. I'm gonna kick out. I don't have any gold changing hands. But with that said, doesn't mean there won't be shortage of craziness and competition in these matches.
So, way I'm seeing it, I'm looking at Cage Match right now. I believe Roman Reigns' last PLE of any kind, singles match, not counting his singles match against Solo Sikoa on the debut episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix, was losing the WWE Championship to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's wild.
That is wild. Talk about protected. Guy loses a match. He's just not even allowed to have a singles match for like 2 years.
I think we have a released match order for tonight. If I can go get the tweet. I believe Roman Reigns might be opening the show with Bronson Reed.
Yeah, that wouldn't surrise me.
This is bodyslam.net per bodyslam.net.
Kind of that mentality we saw from Lesnar a while back.
If you're not closing your opening,
like if you're not closing your opening, for sure. Get it out of the way, get business done, taken care of. So let's kick off with that one then. I know it's a big match, but we'll kick off with it on our prediction series here. getting into our prediction picks brought to you by Batavia Downs. Again, the region's premier entertainment destination, 34 Rush. There's no shortage of amazing amenities at Batavia Downs, so go make it your weekend stay and see what all the hub's about. Speaking of all the hubs, so Bronson Reed has definitely benefited in this, these encounters. He's definitely been getting the best of Roman. Even when Roman's kind of gotten the best of him, he hasn't done so in a way that, has been so defined, so, symbolic. So with that said, let's get into our picks for this match. I'm just trying to pull up other picks. We got Bronson from Rob Ryan. Pretty shocking there. We have but let's see. And then we also have Reigns from McAdoo. Micah, why don't you kick this one off? We'll go to our head of the table and I'll wind it up.
Yeah, I said Bronson earlier, but then we just mentioned that Roman Reigns hasn't had a singles match in damn near 2 years, and there's no way he's losing his first singles match back on the road to probably a world title match down the line somewhere, probably with Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania or something like that. So I'll just stick with it. I'll be boring here and go with Roman Reigns here. He probably doesn't show up to work unless he's getting the dub today. Let's be honest. So let's just go with Roman.
Yeah, I agree for the same reasons. I went back and forth on this initially because for certain reasons, but ultimately they have to give the rub to Roman Reigns. Bronson Reed is getting over, but he's not Roman Reigns over. Now I could see a scenario where Braun Breaker gets involved and might with a ref bump down costs Roman the victory. Because Roman Reigns is about to go off and film Street Fighter. If you didn't hear about that, filming begins on September the 2nd, and Roman Reigns is currently not advertised for the Raw the day after on September the 1st, which tells me that one way or another, he's probably getting written off. And previously Bronson got over him. And I was going to say, Maniac, you've been saying that Bronson's been getting the better of Roman more or less for the last few weeks. So that tells me that Roman Reigns should be going over just by Wrestling Logic 101. But that combined with the fact that he hasn't had a singles match victory since WrestleMania 40 is another indication. And of course, Roman Reigns is the bigger star right now. The only thing that concerns me is how they're going to handle the Shula Fala. Because if they're about to write off Roman Reigns with like 6 tsunamis instead of 2, they're going to give him the 6 tsunami special so he can be out for 3 or 4 weeks. And Roman, the whole purpose of this is to get his shoes back and, get back the Shula Fala from the tribal thief and whatever. If Roman Reigns goes over, if he beats Bronson Reed straight up, and then there's a Braun and Braun attack special after the match, and Bronson goes into tsunami mode and, just totally squashes him, literally speaking, is Bronson just going to take the shoes right back and just keep him for the next few weeks and just say, he may have won the battle, but I won the war and I'm still the tribal thief and I have the Shula Fala and all that. And it's just going to be another reason for Roman to come back and try and get him back again with like some kind of no DQ, no holds barred cage match stipulation type thing. So they're going to have to handle that pretty delicately, but I'm going to have the safe pick and say Roman Reigns goes over.
I could see them transitioning it. I agree with everything you guys said. I think Roman Reigns wins this match. And like you said, the writing's on the wall. If Roman's doing something for an extended period, he's got to also be missing an extended period shortly after, because that's just the way his schedule works now. I like the angle that maybe he'll give the Shula Fala back to a fallen Roman Reigns, like lay it on his body or something, and then maybe he'll go after like new opponents or something like that. That'll be the angle that they'll work it or something. But is there any thought process here before we get into the rest of the card that are they gonna do like Samoan Showdown at Survivor Series? Is it gonna be
War Games?
Yeah, and basically what they've done in years past, but just the newest remix.
They already did that with the Temu Bloodline, the MFTs essentially, right?
But the MFTs haven't done it technically yet, right?
Yeah, they did. Wasn't that the new
Bloodline? It was under different branding, right? Like I'm just saying they weren't the MFTs at that point when they did it last year.
Sure, it's basically the same. It's Solo and his henchmen, essentially.
Yes, Bloodline.
You'd be running that back.
I wouldn't be surprised if they ran that back again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They love the Bloodline storyline. So I wouldn't be surprised if something played into this. Real quick, we're talking about filming before we get into the next match.
We should we try and get Slick in here? I believe he's on an audio.
Oh, there we go. Welcome in, Slick. Slick, any thoughts on
I thought nothing was ever gonna happen there.
Oh, geez. I got tunnel vision.
Waiting in Gorilla for the call to never come.
Hey, better to be waiting in Gorilla than cut off by Barber.
Look, you're in the Rumble. Go.
I do have to say real quick on the match at hand. I'm going to go with basically everything you guys just said. There's no way you get Roman Reigns to Leon Paris, the hottest crowd in WWE history, in John Cena's opinion, just to have him lose a match. Now, I do think he's going to snatch the Shula follow right back off the Tribal Thief for no reason at all, to no avail, because like Partham said, he's going to get the Tsunami special, and those shoes are going to get snatched right back to the rightful owner of the Tribal Thief. And then when Roman Reigns makes his almighty return to reclaim those shoes, it'll be to be the 5th team member in War Games.
Yeah, I like that. I like that little story combination that's like worked together. Speaking of filming, Parthy, you're probably haven't said this, maybe Micah. Cody Rhodes is filming a movie right
He's
now.
filming the same movie. Yeah.
Same
He's
movie.
also
Yep.
in Street Fighter.
But like, what was the thought process in putting the belt on him when he wasn't even going to be here for like this like 5 to 7 weeks? Just because they wanted
that
the
doesn't stop
SummerSlam
them.
moment.
That doesn't stop them with their champions, especially the WWE champion. Brock
Yeah,
Lesnar
I
and
think
Roman Reigns.
Cody's filming
Yeah,
might not be
yeah.
as extensive as Roman's.
Yeah, they've created a weird situation. And Cody was on TV every day when he won after 40. So I'm not trying to go off on a diatribe, but it's almost part of the position of the top champion to just not be on TV like nearly as much. I get makes it important or whatever, but like, come on. Like we can still be doing backstage segments with like the champion, like intermingling with like, you know, mid-card people and stuff like that. Like there's a lot more they can do. That's all I'll say. Speaking of a lot more they can do, we'll see how they can do on this next one. Sheamus versus Rusev, a match that many like thought would never happen again. But now it's happening all the time apparently, and now we got it at the PLE. Slick, why don't you kick us off? We'll go to Parthy and then up around. Who do you got in Sheamus Rusev? Probably a banger on deck in PLE.
Oh, not only a banger, I can't wait for this good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. We haven't seen one of these in a minute. I might even see my favorite Shillelagh come into play. You know, I love that. Rusev kind of been grinding my gears, though, with this little PR thing he did, talking about how he was the best in AEW when he wasn't even really around or having matches for quite some time. So that's kind of an absurd thing to say when you share a locker room with Kenny Omega and other superstars. Sorry, not superstars, but stars that I could go into. But yeah, now he's back in this spot facing Sheamus again. After all the shit he's been talking, I really think Rusev's probably going to win this match, especially with WWE kind of treats Sheamus like a Titus O'Neil ambassador type guy these days. He's doing all the media runs. He can take losses and no one really cares. They all still love him because he puts on banger after banger after banger, W or L. So I'm going to go with Rusev, and the fans will still love Sheamus regardless. Partham, what do you got?
Yeah, I was going back and forth on this because I'm not so sure that the Rusev return and the Rusev heel run thus far has been well received. Maybe not necessarily well received, just not getting over the way that they would have hoped. But it's still very early. This is still his very first big feud since returning, and Sheamus is a good foil for him. They've given it back and forth. They've given both of each of these guys their shine in this constant ongoing brawl that they've had, essentially one match to the next. But I think they're still investing in Rusev. I think they're gonna put Rusev over Sheamus, especially in Sheamus's own match. But regardless of what happens, this is the one match on this card which we can say it's going to be crazy as
It's
shit.
gonna be crazy as shit.
Very well said. I think I'm with you guys. I think Rusev has to go over here. It's this whole story that he's been involved with since he came back has been leading up to this moment. I don't see why you don't put over the new guy here. It's got to be Rusev. But this is going to be a really fun match. I'm excited to see what they let them, how extreme they let them get here in Paris.
Rusev's going over because it makes sense in the storyline and because he did exactly what the E wanted. He went on some outside media and he fed in to the like this. Rusev was the perfect pawn to do this. If CM Punk went and did it, it would have been like disastrous and disingenuous or whatever. But Miro, Rusev, this was a like if you don't think the WWE had their hand on the trigger of those comments specifically coming out days before this match, for sure. with that said, Rusev goes over, and I hope that his WWE run it gets back to the levels of his original WWE runs. It seems like he could be on the way there if he has a good banger with Sheamus. Let's go into some championship gold matches. We got Becky Lynch defending against Nikki Bella. This seems to me like a common theme now in the new PLEs where they'll have a champion take on kind of a, not like a, Hall of Famer or like, a one-off or whatever, because we're still to see if Nikki Bella, if this is a one-off, if this is just a one-time run, but they'll give them a match that maybe summarizes the past like 4 to 5 years of the history versus like just the storyline of what's going on right now. And that's what I see in Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella. I think this should be a good match. This is a match that these two ladies have probably had a lot of time to think about since they haven't gone head-to-head one-on-one in a long time. Ultimately, I think Becky Lynch has to retain here, has to keep this run going. And if she's going to actually put someone over with this title, I think it has to be a new up-and-coming superstar, not a Nikki Bella. Although, this wouldn't be a terrible swerve spot to put the Intercontinental title on a Hall of Famer, Micah. So I'm a little nervous there, but I got Becky Lynch retaining. What do you got, Micah?
Yeah, this is a fun. I'm so excited to see Nikki Bella back. Like, it was, how many times have we had that rumor for the past couple of years about Nikki Bella possibly coming back, possibly returning? So the crowd clearly still has adoration for her. The promos have been exciting. I mean, Becky's done great promo work and great match building since she came back and won this Intercontinental title. So I'm excited to see what they put together here, but I think it's a Becky Lynch win rolling over here again for sure.
Yeah, I think Nikki's back to put over Becky. And can I just say this? Anytime that one of the women in a backstage segment comes across Nikki Bella and says, "Hey, you're one of the people responsible for this women's revolution," I just gotta say, are they delusional at all?
Mate, you're delusional.
As far as I'm concerned, with all due respect to Nikki Bella, with all she's been through and coming back and putting over some younger stars, she's one of the reasons the women's revolution started, but in spite of her, not because of her. She was one of the the models that was brought in by some former vice president of talent relations that to turn into wrestlers and try to make them appealing in that way. But Becky was one of the 4 horsewomen that came in and put an emphasis on actual wrestling. So with that being said, the other juicy thing about coming into this match was Becky Lynch's comments towards a certain hometown of a certain recently deceased rock star, which kind of got under the skin of one Kelly Osbourne. I think she was more directing her heat towards the town rather than her father. It was more, she didn't really say anything bad about Ozzy. She was just roasting the hometown essentially. And the reports are that there's no heat on Becky Lynch for that anyway. But that being all said, I think Becky Lynch retains here.
I just want to go off that real quick, Partham, because
sure,
when you are a WWE Hall of Famer, dead or alive, you're allowed to be put on blast by literally anyone. It doesn't matter in your hometown, whatever. So I think if Sharon took that seriously, she needs to get with the kayfabe brother. Get with the kayfabe brother. Yes, Sharon, my bad. Kelly, oh my goodness.
Yep. You want Brock back?
Yeah,
you got him.
I worked myself a bit, but either way, she worked herself into a shoot. Just get with the kayfabe. In terms of the title being on a future Hall of Famer, it doesn't really need to be because it's on a future one at the moment. I have never been a huge fan of the Bella twins' whole aesthetic, their whole getup. But I've been quite impressed with this feud, actually, since Nikki has come back. And it kind of makes me think the way things have been going, that she's not just back for this one-off run here, but I don't see her winning the match. Becky, like I said, future Hall of Famer, one of the best to do it. Partham mentioned one of the 4 horsewomen. So I'm going to have her retaining. But Nikki sticks around. I think there's more fun things they can do with her. But after the whole saga you just had with Lyra Valkyria, I don't see like a long feud with Nikki Bella right away for Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I mean, Nikki Bella started the women's revolution similar to the way like King George started the American Revolution.
There you go,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was a foil. Now I want to put some respect real quick though. Nikki Bella can fucking go in the ring. Like it's the way that divas were presented, divas during that time, that kind of like really played into that obviously occurring. But I think Nikki Bella could go in the ring. I'm very excited to see what we could see from the ring from these two tonight or this afternoon in Paris. With that said, we got 3 matches left. Why don't we go to this one just because Street Profits are great. I'll kick this off. Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six are still on their ascension here. I haven't seen much development of the storyline since they, have kind of like, had these titles. I don't know if I'm missing something. But it seems like there's a lot to develop here still. So with that said, I think they have a win over the Street Profits. Slick, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm a huge Street Profits guy. I really want them to win the match. I know the Wyatt Six, they've had like their spot right when they came back. I think they had tag titles a while ago, if I'm not mistaken. And now they have them again here after that win at SummerSlam, which the Street Profits were a part of. Looked really good in too. I love the Street Profits. I think they need to be on TV more, especially with this heel demeanor they have now. But the fact that they kind of just had the tag titles too, not all that long ago, and the Wyatt Six here with the win recently, being fan favorites. Everyone loves doing the Fireflies and singing the songs. So I think the Wyatt Six retain for a bit. I could see this feud ongoing for a little.
Yeah, SmackDown has a strong tag division. I initially at SummerSlam called for Rey Fenix and Andrade to win the titles in the ladder match because I thought they were a hot enough popular team, but maybe that'll have to happen down the road. I'm not sure other than them who this might lead to. Maybe you put the titles eventually because the Wyatt Six are getting involved with Miz and Mello, and Miz is sort of freaked out by the Wyatt Six as we saw on SmackDown. And Miz and Mello can get the titles, and then, the dissension between them, which is obviously brewing already, and then they have the split. But for the time being, the Wyatt Six are retaining the titles for as long as they need to, especially with the Street Profits, who they won the tag titles off of just this past summer. So I don't see them taking them right back. I do like this new wrinkle where Bo Dallas is backstage talking to all these different tag teams out of the Uncle Howdy character, just being himself, being channeling very much the spirit of his brother and, talking in all these riddles and trying to sow a little dissension with all these teams. How close are you guys? Are you guys really brothers and whatnot? So I think that's a nice little new twist on it and should make the Wyatt Six more interesting if they sort of humanize, especially Bo Dallas, maybe a couple other the characters like, I don't know. Anyway, Jake, what do you think about all that they're doing with the Wyatt Six?
I'm jumping off your point there because I was getting to the character development we got the other night specifically with Bo Dallas going up to the Street Profits and what he was saying to them there and talking about whether they're brothers, talking about how they're a family and are they actually brothers who can count on each other. We've toyed around with this Street Profits breakup how many times for like the past couple years. I don't know if they're actually going to do it here, but it was interesting for them to have Bo kind of to start that discussion there and have that kick off before this match. I don't think they change the titles here. I think the Wyatt Six keep them here and we get some development one way or the other, whether it means the Profits just are stronger, like go through a rough patch and get stronger together and reclaim those tag titles, or we actually get the singles run for both those guys. I think this is more about development in the story for them than them getting back their titles that they lost. So I'm sticking with the Wyatt Six here.
Yeah, I think nothing to it. Wyatt Six. Street Profits, listen, this is why you win titles in this business. So you could eventually be a foil for another, team, organization, stable, of course, for sure. Title, real quick. I love Seth Rollins. Got to give credit to like how this new vision leader like Seth Rollins is completely different from like all of the past like characters, whether it was his tweener face, whether it was when he was a chicken shit heel with J&J Security. Like this guy is just like, this guy's brutal, man. Like this Seth Rollins is at another level to me. I don't know. So that's the way I'm interpreting it. The other interpretation for me, I'll kick off the picks on this one. I think we all have Seth retaining, but I'll we'll go around to confirm. I think this is going to be a top 3 match in WWE for the year. I think by the time this is all said and done, I think all of these guys could go one-on-one. If they take advantage of the Fatal 4-Way and go around the arena and do a bunch of shit, they could really do some cinema in Paris. And I think all these guys would be desperate to steal the show with exactly where they're at. Seth Rollins wants to establish this heavyweight title reign as amazing. CM Punk kayfabe wants to beat the shit out of all these guys, but also wants to show he can still go. Jey Uso is like on his like he's not on a downturn from like the WrestleMania peak, but let's face it, you got to get momentum back one way or the other. And LA Knight is that up and comer who's like been on the precipice of greatness for so long. He obviously wants to show out. So that's my mindset, and potentially it being the match of
the 40-year-old up and comer, the half of 100.
Oh, well, yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works in WWE. Partly, unfortunately, you got to put in about 20 years of interning, and then you're allowed to be successful. So Seth Rollins, title holder, retains. Michael, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with you. The vision, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with Paul Heyman being directly involved, because he's been directly involved in a lot of the best stuff they've been doing the last 10, 15 years. But listen, I think that a lot of times on the IWC, and not in our group, I think a lot of times you see the general perception on the internet that heat can turn into people are like, this is terrible stuff, when really, he's just generating heat. They're doing their job. And I think that's exactly when the spot we're at with the vision. It's not apathy to me. It's just great heel work with what we're doing here. And I think Rollins is going to be smarmy. He's going to be wily in this match. He's going to have Bronson and Braun come out and be able to help. But maybe another member. We've been waiting for that other member. Maybe this is where they debut it tonight here in this spot against three other guys who clearly have reasons to be upset with Seth Rollins and division for sure. But I'm in agreement with you that I think this match has a high potential to be one of the better matches, one of the better title matches of the year, because Rollins, I mean, first of all, the atmosphere is going to be crazy. All these guys are insanely over, and that crowd in Paris is just going to be going nuts. But I think these guys can all put together. They're all really smart in these specific spots where we're going to be looking to. It's going to be big set pieces. We're going to be getting to big spots, big moments in the matches, the work in between, whatever. But when we get to these big spots, they're going to be able to make it really entertaining. And specifically, we've seen Rollins and Punk do it in a multi-man at WrestleMania a couple months ago with Roman. So I think that those two are geniuses when it comes to putting together matches. I think this is going to be really exciting, but Seth Rollins is winning for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned how the crowd is going to be. Each one of these guys is not only super over, but they've got super sing-alongs, or at least super chant-alongs. They're going to be eating with Jey Uso. They're going to be going LA Knight, with LA Knight. They're going to be singing Cult of Personality. They're going to be going whoa, whoa, whoa with Seth Rollins. Over under on the entrances, like 15 minutes or something like that combined. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah,
over that
easy.
For sure.
All right. So anyway, Seth obviously is going to go over. What concerns me is that the so-called Seth Riders seem to be going over on all the faces on a nearly weekly basis, just beating him down, leaving him laying, and holding each other's arms defiantly, triumphantly, and ending the shows. And obviously Seth is going to go over here and continue that dominance. I just don't want them to be continuously dominant every episode like they're the new NWO or something, especially if they're going to get another member. I'm not even sure who that could be. But I think the only question in this match is who might take the pinfall. Some people might say Jey Uso, LA Knight. Could be a surprising one like Seth pins CM Punk. If definitely Braun Breaker, if he's not getting involved in the Roman Reigns match, he's definitely getting involved here with in a fatal 4-way where there's no DQs involved. So let's go around the horn. I'll go to Slick and we'll go back around the horn. But Slick, I assume you're going to pick Seth. Who do you think might be taking the pin as well?
I actually think exactly what you said is going to happen. I think Seth is going to pin CM Punk. And I agree with Micah and Maniac that this is Seth Rollins' best version. As a guy that returned to watching WWE a little late, I missed all the Shield era. So I've always been a little behind on Seth Rollins, not knowing what everyone else is seeing. But this past 1.5 to 2 years has opened it up like exponentially to me to where he is the top performer in the WWE right now.
Shield context, and I want Mike and Parthy to back me up. When they were like, when the Shield were at their peak, like as a 3-man unit, OG run, obviously the talk began about who was going to be the single star. It was almost all on Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose at that point. They're like Seth Rollins' stock was like comparatively very low, right? Am I correct?
Seth was the hot tag guy. I mean, because it was Roman was the powerhouse and Dean was the talker. Like Dean was doing real, like interesting promos, and we know how crazy that man is and how he can get in promos. So yeah, I'm in agreement with that. He was definitely third on the totem pole starting out.
Yeah, and that's pretty much why they gave Seth the Plan B spot and have him join the Authority to give him over just a little bit more.
And I think that's why I like this version of Seth so much better, because when he was just talking by himself, like as a face, even as a heel where they still sing his song, it's like he would talk good for a bit, but then just laugh like a lunatic. And it's like, dude, like, do you have anything else to say? But when you add the wise man or the oracle as he goes by now into the picture, it's almost like, it's almost like a combo made in heaven. Sorry, we're going down the Bidwell Parkway here. You know how that can get.
Slick's getting close to me. I can hear the speed bumps, everything. No, but
Oh yeah.
I think what. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say on top of that, believe it or not, I'm gonna say the only challenger that actually deserves to be in this match is CM Punk. I can't believe that's coming out of my mouth, but given that he was the one that got screwed over at SummerSlam, but that doesn't justify anyone beating Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins pins Punk and retains.
Didn't get screwed over at SummerSlam. He got cashed in on. It happens, all right? With that said, I want to give credit to CM Punk.
Yeah, he could have just ran away.
He literally could have ran into the crowd.
Maybe he couldn't run away. He was so damn exhausted.
Like he's done before in kayfabe in the exact same situation. But I also want to give credit to Phil Brooks here. The reason that this feud is happening and that this potential has to be made is because he's been willing to do work with Seth all year long, whether it was when he came and him and Seth had a brawl all over Buffalo when they came here in March, or all the way to this point. So credit to them both as performers for being able to do that for the fans. And speaking of which, yeah.
Who do you have taking the pin?
Taking the pin. I'm gonna give that to Jey Uso. I think you don't want to give it to LA Knight. And the only thing is, I mean, I think you want to save the one over Punk. I think it's more painful if Punk loses and he wasn't pinned. I don't think they want to give Rollins a pin over Punk again after how he just did it with the cash in. Even though again the cash in doesn't mean he necessarily beat him straight up. With that said, straight up, yeah.
I also think Jay too. I think it'll end up being Jay.
All right.
You agree, Parthy?
Yeah, I would say Jay's. I wouldn't say his stock is low. I would just say he's the most pinnable of all the four.
No, they've built him up. He's going to come out on an entrance in the next episode or whatever of whatever TV, and they're going to be eating just as hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's what they've built up, so he can take that pin for sure. Speaking of being able to take all the fans' attention, and energy, I think this match should be the main event. I don't know how the hijinks are going to sort out on the show. Maybe there is something bigger happening. But John Cena, the Never Seen 17, versus the Maverick, Logan Paul Slick. I know you have some dynamic thoughts on both these guys. We just saw both these guys perform at SummerSlam. Why don't you give your thoughts on what we're going to see from them both in Perry in your prediction for tonight? And we'll go around the horn.
Slick in a tunnel?
Oh,
we lost Slick.
He does it wow. Now, honestly, if we were a syndicated wrestling program, wouldn't that have been a great like moment right there? Like he's not giving his pick. Okay, I will step in because I don't want to make our head of the table go further than this one. I do think that this is I haven't looked at the odds, honestly, and we typically do, but I think this is pretty close to like a pick 'em as you get, because obviously, fans want to see John Cena pin Logan Paul, but this has been kind of like a little micro feud, and this is something where maybe if Logan Paul gets a pin on John Cena, whether it's because of a beast incarnate showing up in Perry or if there's something else, I think that's really massive for his resume and the real life of it all, for sure. So with that all taken into account, I got to still go John Cena. He put over the French crowd, and I think that they're going to put him over tonight over Logan Paul. I think he gets the win. Micah, what do you got? And then we'll wrap it up with Parthy.
I just have to note, I'm not saying it's a prediction. I'm not saying it's a big possibility, but our friend Dwayne is in Europe as of yesterday. Was in Italy, posted on Instagram.
I saw I saw a headline that he teased he was going to be Clash in Paris involved, and I didn't even fucking click it. That's at the point we're at in my life.
Just saying. I just had to throw it out there just to put it out there. Off principle, I'm picking John Cena. This is just a principled pick in my life that if wrestling is what I believe it should be, John Cena needs to win this match over Logan Paul. So that's where I'm at.
Odds makers have Cena at -700.
Okay,
so I think pretty much across the board, every prediction I've been glancing at or looking at is saying Cena. The only way I could see this going Logan Paul is if they bring Brock back and they bring him in to, do a run in with the ref down or the ref distracted, F5 Cena and put over Logan Paul like that. And then Cena goes to WrestlePalooza to get his revenge in that regard. But I think they could do the Brock Lesnar re-return after, a few weeks off and, get his heat back on Cena after Cena wins over Logan Paul. And I think on Cena's on retirement tour, I don't see very many scenarios where he loses until his final match, if that's where he loses. So I'm just going to say Cena goes over Logan Paul. I think he beats him.
I think
we got
fans might be interested in what we have here.
I'm interested.
Hi guys, it's me, Slick, and I'm here at Maniacs. Brock Lesnar's not going to Lyon. Hey, hey, oh my gosh, I'm in the building. Hold up.
Wait, what the? He's in the building? Bring him to me, damn it! Bring him in. Take me to him. All right, get it. All right, we got him in.
Yeah, guys, Brock Lesnar's not going to Paris. It's just not happening. France, Lyon, wherever. He's home in Saskatoon, just south of Saskatoon, probably chopping up some elf meat or something like that, getting ready for his big return to SmackDown that's been
elf meat
for the past 2 months.
Elf meat? Yeah, I was gonna say
sorry.
he lives among elves.
God damn.
What
Getting
I mean
the North Pole.
Elk. That's
Yeah.
what I meant. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, no, sorry. I hope you find your dad.
That's
Hey, buddy. No, yeah, he's going to be back on the SmackDown that they advertised right after SummerSlam, so they give him a little 2-month buffer to get ready to learn how to do more than just an F5 again. So I am going to go with Cena because he's kind of on his European redemption tour here. He apologized to the
I
kid.
didn't know he apologized to the kid. When I saw that
That's huge,
clip, I
right?
was
That's huge.
beside myself.
So I think he's gonna get a win in Paris, France, which he did. He did get the win, all the wins in Europe, but they were not clean. So that's gonna be his way of apologizing, beating Logan Paul clean.
All right.
Yeah.
Any final
when
thoughts,
I
boys?
saw the footage of that kid, basically in the crowd, like outside the arena on social media, I pretty much knew that they were probably going to do something with him. I didn't know that necessarily would be during the show, but as soon as Cena said, "Here's how you do it, Logan Paul," and he goes out something, he's about to find that kid and go say, "Hey, we're all good with that." But it's
It
like
is
I'm a little
damn funny,
disappointed.
though, that,
I thought you were gonna hold that shot all the way, like the uncut shots from backstage through Gorilla and into the arena and whatnot.
I should have. Yeah, I got a little bit ahead of myself. I felt my music start playing, and
Listen, this is post Attitude Era over here. We're not showing full walkthroughs of Gorilla and everything. Those are coming at a later date, all right? In the new era. But any final thoughts as we sign off here on Wrestling with Emotion, boys?
Oh, hey, shout out to what's Mike Ronnie going to be involved in exactly at Wingfest?
Megabyte Ronnie competing today in the National Chicken Wing Eating Comp. His big return to eating, Maniac. He had a big return to wrestling. Now the big return to eating. And Joey Jaws is out of the picture.
You can't help but
Wait, he's not there?
He's not competing.
You can't help but wonder if Joey saw the return of Megabyte Ronnie and he's like, I only travel for Monster Pops and being the lead, and that was what he was thinking. So shout out to Joey for knowing the audience, and obviously huge anticipation for Megabyte Ronnie today.
Big time.
The final boss of eating doesn't want to show his face in the mid-towns, I guess.
Dude, listen, he doesn't want to be the heel in Buffalo. Like, usually he's the face. But
Yeah.
when Ronnie comes to town, things change. And the card is subject to change at all times.
Being number 2 doesn't work for him, brother. All right. Well, with that said, let's give Tim Tebow some confidence. Signing off here on Wrestling with Emotion, Clash in Paris. Parthy, the head of the table. Micah, our guy, your friend, my friend, our friend, myself, and Slick. Go have a good day now, because this is not the show with Wrestling with Your Conscience. This is not the show where it's Wrestling with Your Budget. This is Wrestling with Emotion. Too sweet.
Yeah.